If it's Monday night, oh, yes, it is. Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio, the man who tells it like it is, back with you for another edition of Ridiculously Raw. Great to be back here. Of course, we did not have a show last week as we observed the Halloween holiday. So it's great to be back with you. And I'm joined by my elite panel, as always, the host of the Cerebral Smack Talk, our Cerebral Viper, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. We also got the Phenom, Michael Bullock. And hello, what's this? Is that the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson I see? The first lady of the Wrestling Forum actually with us on this show tonight? That's great. Great to have Didi with us. She posted on Facebook that she was actually available tonight. So, yeah, that's awesome. So, oh, yeah, and if Didi Woodson is here, you know it's a good show. So, and yeah, let's get down. Let's get down to it. Of course, Monday Night Raw was not live. It was actually taped earlier today at the SSE Hydro Arena in Glasgow, Scotland, the hometown, of course, of the late great Hall of Famer Rowdy Roddy Piper. I mean, what I would have given for him to have still been alive today, if he had still been alive today, I guarantee you he would have been on the show tonight. Mark my words on that. And that place would have popped big for him if he had showed up. But sadly, of course, we know what happened last summer, but there you go. Beautiful arena. I mean, you saw how it looked on TV. It came out great. And this show tonight, I'm going to be real honest. I know I've been very critical of this show for the last God knows how long, but they did something on this show tonight that I couldn't believe. You know what they did? They actually took a page out of SmackDown Live's playbook, because that's apparently how you gotta survive in business nowadays. They did two little words that SmackDown Live is known for, and they actually did it here tonight. Those two little words, very simple: storyline progression. And we had a lot of it on this show tonight. So I am proud of this show tonight. Maybe it may not have been the best show, but I'll tell you what. I mean, we saw some things on this show very impressive. Let's just say there's not going to be as many cutouts as there usually are. So, so with that being said, let's start it off. We started it, of course, with an in-ring segment. We had the beautiful commissioner of Monday Night Raw, Miss Stephanie McMahon. My goodness, did she look amazing. And she basically came out and addressed Team Raw and SmackDown Live, of course, the whole Survivor Series thing. And then she introduced the members of Raw's Survivor Series team: Universal Champion Kevin Owens, his best friend Chris Jericho, the United States Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns, and the big man, the 6'8", 385-pounder Braun Strowman. And then from there, he was like, okay, we have four. We need one more member. And ladies and gentlemen, here is your fifth and final member of Monday Night Raw's team for Survivor Series. And it was no big surprise. It was a surprise of no one. It was the architect. It was Seth Rollins, and the fans loved it. Kevin Owens like, you got to be kidding me. This has got to be a joke. And then Rollins says, hey, you know what? If you want to guarantee a win at Survivor Series, you need me on this team. And then Stephanie showed SmackDown Live's team, which is, of course, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, the WWE World Champion AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, and the Lunatic Fringe Dean Ambrose. And Stephanie played up, hey, what would happen with the former members of the Shield? And how about Bray Wyatt? He held you down, Braun Strowman, never let you have the spotlight in the Wyatt family. And she said, hey, Jericho, put all five of these stupid idiots on your list. And then, hey, Kevin Owens, here's your chance to prove to yourself that you're the better world champion than AJ Styles. So, and then the whole thing breaks down, and then the egos, of course, you knew the egos were going to get involved. And then they all brawl, and, you know, they have a brouhaha, and then Stephanie's like, enough. And what's going to happen is you boys got to fight like your jobs are on the line. And they are. Drops the mic and walks out. Oh, did Bullock and I get chills watching that. And then from there, Stephanie would announce that in the main event of tonight's show, all five members of Team Raw are going to fight each other in a fatal five-way match. Whew. Let me just say it like this. This was the segment of the night for me. I don't care what anybody says. This was amazing. Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman tied for mic time with 0. Owens and Jericho were entertaining and were probably the most popular wrestlers in the ring, though people like Seth Rollins as well. I mean, that was really well done. Stephanie McMahon being your classic heel authority figure, trying to strike fear and intimidation, put the fear of God into all 5 team members. And I mean, yes, Owens and Jericho were great, and Rollins was his usual self. But to me, I got to say, Stephanie was amazing here. Stephanie McMahon was the star of this segment, especially when she literally dropped the mic and walked out. Oh, my goodness. I mean, Bullock and I, when we were doing our Raw chat, we couldn't believe it. That's all I can say about that. We were like, wow, she dropped the mic and walked out. Unbelievable. So there you go. There's your 5 men for Survivor Series. They go up against SmackDown Live. This is the 5-on-5 men's matchup, and boy, howdy, are we looking forward to this. I mean, it could go either way. It really can. So that's all I can say on that. Well done segment. This was the segment of the night. Absolutely enjoyed it. Stephanie, you were the star. Dropping that mic and walking out. Yes, yes, yes. That's all I can say. That was easily the highlight for me. So with that being said, Girl MF, Michael Fletcher, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on this opening segment with Team Raw for Survivor Series. How does it look to you, Mr. SmackDown Live?
I'll admit it. It's a very good squad. I like it. Of course, when it comes to Team SmackDown, you got 4 very interesting players, and then there is a wild card in your team. When you got Roman Reigns, you got Seth Rollins, you got Chris Jericho, you got Kevin Owens, and then Braun Strowman is the wild card on your squad. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting matchup, but you got the 2 classic guys, the thoroughbreds, the longest running guys on WWE on SmackDown side, which is Randy Orton with Chris Jericho. They've been in many Survivor Series team matches. I know Orton has led 3 times to victory. He's basically Mr. Survivor Series. When it comes to this match, he's phenomenal in them. Then you got some great talent. You got champion versus champion, the WWE World Champion AJ Styles versus the WWE Universal Champion and Kevin Owens. So you got that dynamic. You got, like you said, Braun Strowman going up against Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is the teacher, Braun Strowman the student. How's that going to play out? And then you got the biggest inkling of the whole thing, Dean Ambrose against his former Shield brothers. How is that going to play out in the Survivor Series, especially if there is a moment where Dean Ambrose is going to fight Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose fighting against Seth Rollins, because it will most likely happen in this match. So, I mean, it's a very good squad. Very strong squad, no doubt about it. I'm not going to knock it. Being the SmackDown guy, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Stephanie McMahon, Mick Foley, great team. Great Survivor Series squad. We kind of had a feeling this was probably going to be the 5. Strowman is kind of the wild card in it, but the other 4 were practically easily predicted. We kind of knew who the 4 were. And then once you go to SmackDown, AJ Styles, when you got AJ Styles, you got Baron Corbin. Like I said, Corbin's the wild card. Randy Orton. I'm also forgetting. Wait a minute. Let me think. Just give me a second. Don't interrupt me. So it's Corbin, Styles, Ambrose, Orton, and Bray Wyatt. So that's the 5 for SmackDown. So you got a very deep squad too. But here's the problem. 4 of those guys can't get along. And think about that factor. In order to win a match like Survivor Series, some way, somehow, you kind of have to get on the same page one way or another. And the advantage, and I'm going to be real blunt with you guys, the advantage actually goes to SmackDown. Because if you really think about it, AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose is practically in a lockup brawl right now. They can't trust each other. They don't know if they're gonna trust. There's that trust factor, so you don't know. Of course, Baron Corbin's the wild card, but with Orton and Bray Wyatt, I mean, you never know with them. Maybe there's a two on two off, and that might be bad for SmackDown. But I think just for the heck of it, and for the mere fact of to secure victory for SmackDown, I think Wyatt and Orton can bury the hatchet for one night. And remember, Orton and Wyatt's got this interesting partnership going on. So we don't know how far this is going to go. Where on Raw, I mean, you can already see it. You sense it. Jericho and Owens against basically two members of the Shield, and the third member is basically, and that final member, Strowman's the absolute wild card. Already, you got four guys fighting at each other, going at each other's throats. If you're a SmackDown guy, you're loving this. You're loving it. You are chest fired cat like grinning. You're kind of hoping and praying, okay, Ambrose, AJ, if you're gonna brawl, fine, whatever. Just don't do what's happening on Raw. Right now, we got the advantage. The ball's in our court. If we just let these four just destroy themselves, we're golden. We'll win this. We'll win this in Toronto. So, of course, that's about 3 weeks away. We still got a long way before we get to Survivor Series. So, I mean, anything can happen. But again, Stephanie McMahon laying down the law, and she means it. This is war. This time around, like any other year, we would be like, oh, okay, great 5-on-5. We're just going to enjoy it. No. This is like the old school days. This is Anthony Florio and Mike Fletcher when we were going to war. SmackDown versus Raw. There's more than just a team winning. There's pride. There's honor. And there's that true, this that coveted, blood that's in the system. And let me be realistic. A lot of people on the internet is definitely riding SmackDown because of the fact that their show is far better than Monday Night Raw. Unlike tonight, which I thought was a very good show, and we'll get into that later in the evening, this is why if Monday Night Raw wins this fight, it solidifies themselves as the A show, as the number one show for WWE right here, right now. If SmackDown Live wins Survivor Series, then there's going to be some doubt about who the real A show is. And that's why I put that, I fired that cannon out last week on my little lighter note, calling SmackDown Live possibly the new A show of WWE. And I know a couple of you Raw fans kind of got a little under my skin, got under the skin of a few people because I said that. Well, like my buddy would say, to each his own. But this was a great segment of the night for me. No doubt about it. I thought the crowd in Scotland was awesome. And big ups to WWE. Because, it was a tape show. So you kind of was feeling, oh no, are they going to edit it? From what I've heard, at least for this opening segment, this was not filtered by WWE brass. Mr. McMahon and Kevin Dunn didn't put their hands in there to try to manipulate the crowd noise or the reaction from the crowd. When Roman Reigns came out, they booed him. And, they kept it as consistent and real. That's what I like. Good job, guys. Segment of the night, Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
And Bullock, how about when Stephanie McMahon dropped the mic and walked out? Yeah, wasn't that awesome? Bullock, are you with us? My Lord, I think we lost him. All right. Didi, I guess we're gonna have to throw it to Didi Woodson now. Didi Woodson, your thoughts on the opening segment as well as the final layout for Team Raw?
Hey, I thought it was awesome. It's definitely the segment of the night, and I guess you can say for me, actually getting to catch a Raw show live or semi-live since it was taped is rare right now. So I guess I picked a good night to watch it. So yeah, I think that both teams are very strong, and I do I think out of the setup for the teams, I'm more interested in how it's going to play out between Bray and Strowman, since Strowman used to be on Bray's team. But at the same time, you also have the former Shield with members on both teams. So there's 2 or 3 little factors here that could play into it if they go back into before the split on how things could possibly turn out. But then at the same time, both, like I said, both teams are strong right now. I think SmackDown has a little less factor of the team actually imploding on itself than Raw does, but hey, to each its own. It's going to be exciting to watch it, and like I said, I definitely enjoyed it, and it was definitely the segment of the night. So, unless Bullock's back, I'm going to toss it back to you, Florio.
Yo, I'm right here.
All right, I thought we lost you for a minute. All right. Okay, Bullock, your thoughts on that opening segment with the final members of Team Raw being announced, and of course, the moment that we had chills during our Raw chat tonight. You remember the one, Stephanie McMahon dropping the mic and walking out?
Oh, yeah, I thought this was a good segment, and yeah, I mean, we all kept wondering who the final team member of Team Raw was going to be, and it was Seth Rollins, to none of our surprises, but yeah, and I mean, Florio and we had our mouths dropping when Stephanie McMahon did the infamous dropping the mic and walking off. I'm like, whoa. And yeah, and as far as the teams go, I gotta agree with Fletch and gotta go with Team SmackDown Live, because the egos for Raw, I think, are a little bit more up there. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to and of course they announced the Fatal 5-Way for tonight. So how did it all go down? You'll have to wait and find out. So segment of the night. So Florio, let's move on to the matches portion of our show.
Yes, and the first match was a cruiserweight tag team match, and I know you guys have been very critical of the cruiserweights, and I don't blame you. But we had a cruiserweight tag team match. We had the cruiserweight champion Brian Kendrick teaming up with the debuting Noam Dar, Scotland's own Noam Dar, who got a hometown pop like we never heard before. They went up against the charismatic Rich Swann and Sin Cara. And the winners of the match, Rich Swann and Sin Cara. It was, I don't remember how it happened, but Rich Swann pinned the Cruiserweight champion yet again. So who knows? Maybe down the road, Rich Swann could end up being the next challenger for Brian Kendrick once they finally move him on from TJ Perkins. So time of the fall that I have is 6 minutes and 58 seconds, roughly 7 minutes. So, MF, I know you've been critical of the cruiserweights. Is that going to continue here, or did they finally win you over here?
They didn't. For tonight, they won me over. I still need to see more. But this was a good fight. I mean, 2 to 2.5 stars. I'll give fairness to that. It was about 7 minutes long, so I mean, I think that's a fair assessment as well. They got enough ample time to do what they needed it to do. Of course, I kind of feel like they should really start to really expand and do what they need to do. But I do like the fact that they actually used that international flavor, brought in, Scotland's own for this fight to get that hometown rub and everything else. Just a darn shame that he didn't get the victory here. But, I'm not going to knock WWE booking or anything like that because as a lot of people know, I was really, really, really critical about WWE lately and their booking, their decision-making, as it pertains to certain events. So I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to start a fight. I'm not going to poke the bear while things are going downhill. So I'm not going to do that. But it was fair enough. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a lot more entertaining than some of the cruiserweight matches have been lately. I'll give you that. But look, step in the right direction, but I'm not all in. You still got to show me some more, but I'm going to give you benefit where benefit that is due. Good job, good match. I liked it. You just got to, bring something to the table. But I do love the fact that Rich Swann got the victory over the Brian Kendrick and that he pinned him. That's 2 weeks in a row. Anthony, you said it. That might be the ticket for Rich Swann to get a shot at the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. If that does happen, hopefully they'll play this right and not make it as horrible as a finish as TJP was against Kendrick when they fought in Boston at Hell in a Cell, because the match was good. The ending was the thing that just almost made me go through the roof. So other than that, good fight. 2 to 2.5 stars. Michael Bullock, my friend, it's all yours.
Yeah, 2 to 2.5 stars is my rating on the match as well. I mean, yeah, Rich Swann getting another victory here over the Cruiserweight champion. And I think somewhere down the line, Rich Swann's going to get that shot at the Cruiserweight title. But like you said, once they get TJ Perkins out of the title picture, but we'll wait and see when that actually does happen. But yeah, 2.5 stars. So, Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll agree with the rating. I can't say too much about the match because, of course, I haven't seen a lot of Raws lately due to work commitments and crazy schedules. But from what I have seen, this was definitely better than the pay-per-view match, which was the last cruiserweight match I saw. So I'll definitely agree with the rating, and I'll just toss it over to Florio.
I'm gonna pull the trigger and give it a solid 2.5 stars. I mean, a nice introduction of Dar in his home country. It was odd that he was paired with Kendrick since it led to the crowd not getting behind the babyface team. But the post-match angle at least established Dar as a babyface, so I have to give him credit for that. So yes, solid match here. I mean, cruiserweights continue. Well, for me, yes, the booking has been horrible. I will admit it, but it is what it is on that. So a nice win indeed for Rich Swann, and most definitely he's on his way to becoming the next contender, the next challenger for the Brian Kendrick's Cruiserweight Championship. And so 2 to 2.5 stars. That's really all I can give it. So well done on that. So once the entrance of Dar ended, the energy was somewhat dead there. I mean, the match was solid, but completely forgettable other than Swann scoring a second win over Kendrick. At least Dar got to shine in the post-match, but sending him on the heels team was puzzling, even with the post-match. He also got almost no time to shine. So, and he's great. He really is great. So with that being said, let's move on to what we have next up here. Okay, we had the Team Raw as far as the big 10-man tag team elimination match goes. The return of that match, which I'm looking forward to. We started it off with, of course, the Wrestling Forum's favorite tag team, Enzo and Cass. They did their entrance with their shtick, called Team SmackDown Live soft, SAWFT, and then you had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and then you had the Golden Truth, and then the randomly thrown together tag team of Cesaro and Sheamus, and then of course your tag team champions, The New Day, and they did. And they basically had their say. And, of course, the New Day came out dressed as William Wallace, a la Braveheart, from 21 years ago. So New Day was comical before. So that's all I can say on that. So, that was very comical, to say the very least. So overall thoughts on this segment. Let's start it off with the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Bullock, we had a lot of fun during this segment, during our Raw chat, did we not?
Oh yeah, we definitely had a lot of fun with this segment here, Florio. Basically Sheamus was basically saying, "Oh, I'm the captain of this team," and everybody was poking fun at Sheamus, and everybody was all like saying, "Shame, shame, shame, shame." So. Yeah, this was a fun segment here, and everybody played their parts well, and there was still another tag team to be added to the Raw tag team. Who would be joining them? You'll have to wait and find out. So I like this segment. It was good for what it was. So, Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
It was a solid segment. A lot of, I guess you can say, a lot of comedy when it came to New Day and Enzo and Cass. But at the same time, it was interesting to see the little explosion you had between Sheamus and Cesaro, and then, of course, Anderson and Gallows, who really don't even seem like they want to even be a part of this, let alone anything else. So it was definitely a solid segment. So that's about all I'm going to say to it.
Yeah, second best segment of the night for me. New Day was comical before the segment overstayed its welcome. If the goal was, let me back that up here. All right, this was a fun segment, and it played out a lot better than most of the recent New Day segments, largely due to the crowd being so into it. Play to your audience. That's really all there is to say on that, and. Everything was funny here. Enzo and Cass doing their usual shtick, the SAWFT and the whole 9 yards. But there was one line, and I'm surprised Bullock didn't mention this because we had a lot of fun with this during our Raw chat tonight. How about when Cesaro referred to Sheamus as the Red Rooster? Oh, wasn't that something?
Oh man, I laughed my ass off when he called him that. He called him the Red Rooster.
Yeah, you sure did, Bullock. It's not often I hear Michael Bullock lose it like that, but he certainly did. But then again, he's been losing it a lot lately. The whole Seth Rollins sparkle crotch thing on Jericho, and
you know what? I can only imagine what the original Red Rooster must be thinking right now.
Terrific Terry Taylor. I wonder what he is thinking about it. I know he's an agent for them, so but man, oh man, alive. That was the line that did it for me. The Red Rooster line. When Cesaro did that, Bullock and I just absolutely lost it, and that's all I could say. We were cracking on that. So, but other than that, very very good stuff there from everybody involved. I mean, yes, sans the golden truth, but Anderson and Gallows were their serious selves, and Sheamus being that whiny heel saying, I don't want any part of this. I shouldn't be in this match, but too bad, buddy, you are. And but Enzo and Cass and the New Day, they did it for me. So second best segment of the night. And of course, now I'm really looking forward, of course, because for the first time in 28 years, we're going to have the 10-on-10 tag team elimination Survivor Series match. That in the first two Survivor Series were the show stealers both years. So watch those matches if you haven't already, so you can get a sample of what you're going to see in 13 days, less than 2 weeks, not 3 MF for the Survivor Series. So we're getting closer than you think. So really looking forward to it. So second best segment of the night for me. So MF, how did this segment come off to you?
No, I thought it came off really well. I thought it was definitely a great. It was funny for the most part, and yeah, it needed to get serious in some other areas, which I think it did. But all in all, I thought it was a solid segment. I got nothing bad to say about it. Just to be fair enough. It was good for what it was worth, and it served its purpose. Now you got the full 5-man squad all set for your team, and as a matter of fact, I do believe SmackDown will fulfill their 5th spot this week. Actually, as of tomorrow night, they're supposed to have their 5th and final team announced. So, I mean, yeah, it was good for what it was worth. I got nothing bad to say about it. So, with that said, we move on.
Yeah, we probably should have made this a 2-for-1 segment because we had a tag match that followed it. We had the New Day going up against Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And the winners of the match in 6 minutes and 36 seconds via pinfall. Wow, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They actually win the match with the Magic Killer. Whoa, okay. Dee Woodson, let's start it off with you. Your thoughts on Anderson and Gallows actually pinning the tag team champions?
I was shocked that they actually pinned them after how many times have they fought them? But, for the most part, I thought it was a fairly decent match. I'm probably going to give it about 2.5 stars, which I don't know if that's low for you guys or not. But, for me, I thought it was a decent match, and it was interesting to see New Day wrestling in the garb they were wearing, since they were trying to do the Braveheart bit in the segment before. So, but it was definitely a surprise to see them pin it, and it'll be even more interesting to see how this tag team Survivor Series turns out at the pay-per-view. So, Florio, what's yours?
Yes. No, I think Dee Woodson has it about right. About 2 to 2.5 stars is the rating. The best thing about this match, the best thing I could say about this match is that it didn't involve a pumpkin. We've seen 1 step forward for Gallows and Anderson before, and it's always followed by 2 steps back in WWE. Have they set a new record for most televised non-title wins by a tag team in WWE history? I mean, like the opener, it started fine, but died as it went on. I mean, there was no energy or anything resembling fire down the stretch. It happened, the crowd died, and then the champions lost, and it never felt like a big deal. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson needed the win, but it didn't come off well or feel like it mattered. When the champions lose, even in a non-title setting, there should be some buzz on the finish. After getting the crowd into things with the promo segment, this match lost them. But I will give it about 2 to 2.5 stars for the body of work, though. I will agree with Dee Woodson's rating for the most part, so Gallows and Anderson, we've seen this movie before. When are they going to finally get that big payoff they should have gotten a long time ago? Hopefully soon. So with that being said, MF, your thoughts on this tag team match with Gallows and Anderson, your old buddies from the Bullet Club, pinning the tag team champions?
Yeah, big win, no doubt about it. Look, the body of work has been amazing. What they needed it to do tonight was good enough. And like you said, this is about maybe another 2.5 star fight. And I got no arguments here. I thought they did a great job. There's really nothing more to add. So we're just gonna move on. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. 2 to 2.5 stars. Yeah, Gallows and Anderson, they really needed this win, and hopefully it does build them some momentum because right now they've been treated like crap as of late, especially last week. But yeah, and hopefully they are in line for a WWE Tag Team title shot, and hopefully they can finally cash in. So that they should have, which obviously should have been done a long time ago, but it is what it is. So 2 to 2.5 stars, and breaking news from Monday Night Football: the Seattle Seahawks hang on to beat the Buffalo Bills 31-25 is the final score. So Week 9 is officially in the books. So Florio, I give it to you.
Wow, what a surprise. Did you really expect Buffalo to win that game? I sure as hell didn't. But hey, give them credit where credit is due. They hung
I was
in
going
there.
to say, I mean, they gave Seattle some fits.
I'm sorry, guys. Buffalo should have won that game. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna call it right here, right now.
With the way Buffalo played tonight, maybe
they should have won this game.
Won.
They should have won this game. A little bit of a controversial call at the end. I thought there was a face mask call on a sack. Wasn't called. To me, I'm sorry. Buffalo got hosed by the well. I can't say the word I want to say, but let's just say it was the home cooking of Seattle. Even though Seattle won this game and it was a good game, Buffalo had their opportunities. They could have stolen this one.
Ugh. The Fail Mary, the game against Atlanta a few weeks ago, and now this. The stupid idiots in stripes win again. That's all I can say about that. Those stupid idiots. That's all I can say about that. And because of that controversial call, they just made the list. Booyah. So,
unfortunately, you get the stupid idiot refs in college also.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that Oklahoma State Central Michigan game from early in the year. I mean, that's a prime example right there. So, but yeah,
I was about to make a joke when you said that they actually were on the list. I was gonna say like, oh no, not the list. No, I don't want to see them on the list. Forget it now. Dee Dee Woodson kind of killed the mojo on me when she was talking about the college refs.
Oh, they made yeah, well, they made the list and then some. Simple as that. So, all right, enough about that. We'll get into that Friday night on NFL Friday. So, so with that being said, let's move on here to our next match, and this is an interesting one here. We had the Golden Truth going up against the Shining Stars. Now, I know this is usually a cutout. I mean, if you want this to be a cutout, my friends, let me know if you want to talk about it or not. But here's the thing. Golden Truth's Survivor Series spot was on the line in this match because Goldust convinced Stephanie to make the stipulation. So this was for a spot. This was for the 5th and final spot on Team Raw in the tag team match. And the winners of the match in 4 minutes and 45 seconds and new members of Team Raw, the Shining Stars. The Shining Stars are going to Survivor Series. The Shining Stars pick up the win. So, so it's up to you guys. Do you want this to be a cutout? Do you want me to just? Well, I take it by Dee Dee Woodson's reaction. I guess I should move on. So
move on.
Okay. Yep. I'm not going to argue. So, but I will give a quick liner note on my end. Not that it would have made a difference in terms of making the crowd actually care about the match, but it's odd that they didn't bother to tell the Scottish fans that the Survivor Series spot was at stake. And yeah, it was a long, lifeless, and a bad 5.5 minutes. One of the many problems on Monday Night Raw. That's for sure. All right, now we're gonna move into. All right, now we're gonna go back to relevancy for a minute here. We had Michael Cole. Michael Cole standing in the ring. Of course, he explained the rules of the traditional Survivor Series elimination matches, and then he introduced the 5 members of Team Raw for the women's Survivor Series elimination match. Out first was team captain and women's champion Charlotte Flair. And then he brought out Nia Jax, team member number 2. And then member number 3, Alicia Fox, A-Fox, is going to be on this team. And then the 4th member of the team, the lovable Bayley, with her wacky waving, arm flailing, inflatable tube men. And then Charlotte said, and then Charlotte says, "Hey Cole, I got this. The 5th and final member of our team, my protege, Dana Brooke." And then Michael Cole took the mic back and said, "No disrespect to Dana Brooke, but I'm sorry, Charlotte. Dana Brooke is not the 5th and final member of Team Raw on this women's side. It's the boss, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks rounds out Team Raw, not Dana Brooke." So, and this is actually a 2-for-1 segment. I'm not going to botch this one. It would then lead into a 6-woman tag team match with Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Alicia Fox going up against Charlotte Flair, Dana Brooke, and Nia Jax. And the winners of the match in 11 minutes and 30 seconds, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Alicia Fox. Bayley pins the women's champion with a Bayley to belly. So I believe I start this one off, correct? Because I think Didi Woodson led off on the last, because we skipped the Shining Stars bout. So yeah. 3rd best segment of the night here. These segments usually come off funny, and WWE obviously wants one thing, but the crowd rebelled and told them who they wanted and appreciated. This was an incident where Charlotte let it get to her, and the segment sort of fell apart, with them telling the same "we can't get along" story. But Bayley and Banks felt like stars due to the love of the crowd. And then as far as the match is concerned, I got to say it was the 2nd best fight of the night on my end. I'm going to give this about a solid 3 stars. I mean, it was a bit better than the other matches. Bayley winning made sense due to the crowd and to also get past the forced weak link deal they started last week. And still, the overall story has now been told 3 times tonight, and it feels kind of lazy. Everyone hates everyone, so let's fight. Maybe some team building exercises are in order. So I'm not even going to make the little joke I was going to make, but they showed the graphic for the women's match at Survivor Series, and it had 6 women listed. So I'm guessing it could mean Dana Brooke will be in the corner, because you remember Natalya is going to be the coach, if you will, for the SmackDown Live women's team. So who knows? Maybe Dana Brooke could be the counteracting of that. So, but for me, this was the 2nd best fight of the night on my end. I'm giving it a solid 3 stars for the effort and a storyline progression. Bayley actually picks up the win, pins the women's champion. So who knows? Maybe Bayley could be the next in line for Charlotte Flair in the women's championship, maybe at the Roadblock event next month in Pittsburgh. So that's all I can say on that. So MF, 2-for-1 deal. Your thoughts on the women's segment as a whole, and of course the 6-woman tag match.
Good segment, no doubt about it. But Glasgow, Scotland hijacked that segment. They did. They literally hijacked the segment by showing so much love to Bayley. I'm not going to do it because I fear copyright, or I'm going to get myself in trouble for singing, the little jig that they were doing, that they do all the time. It's an old song. It's going to end up being, "Will You Be My Girl?" That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go there. You guys know the song. If you don't know it, YouTube it. But don't do it now. Do it after the show is over. Then you can do that segment. They always do it every time in Europe. They do it everywhere, practically everywhere. Bayley is so over by the WWE universe, especially out there in Europe. They love her. She's awesome. But Sasha, same thing. She's over. She's awesome. Those are the two that people love so much. And then, you know, Charlotte trying to be that queen bee, but the problem was when it was like she was trying to continue the storyline and everything else, but it felt like the fans hijacked that segment and it threw Charlotte off her game. And that's why you saw what you saw. As far as the match goes, no, not bad. I'll even admit two stars. Definitely second best fight of the night. I thought they did a great job with it. Bayley gets the victory. Yes, that should put her in line to possibly become the next contender for the WWE Raw Women's title, no doubts. But, you know, we'll wait and see what happens in the near future. But I will say this, it was definitely a job well done. They finally got their 5 girls for the Raw side of things. And I will say, man, that's a pretty deep squad, to say very, very much. I mean, you got 3 powerhouses when you got Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha all together on one side. Then you got Alicia Fox, the veteran, and then the up-and-comer in Nia Jax. Thank God she's on that team. She's going to be a brute force. And who knows, she might win it for the Raw squad. I mean, she, as much as they built the big 3, and I think that's what it is. I think you could say right now the Raw has a big 3. And I'm talking their big 3, no doubt, is Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha. I mean, you could compare them to Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen of the Boston Celtics days, or if you're a Miami Heat fan, you could call this the LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. I mean, that's a huge 3 that you got, and it's definitely on Monday Night Raw. They're looking good. We'll wait and see what happens, but you know, whatever the case may be, and we'll go from there. So, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I thought this was the second best segment of the night. Charlotte, like you said, she was trying to play the role of that queen bee, but like you said, I mean, the fans basically hijacked that segment. I mean, they were making a lot of noise, especially with Bayley and Sasha Banks, and because we all know how much everybody loves her, and of course Sasha trying to tweak it a little bit by saying, Dana Brooks on the team. Nope, it's Sasha Banks. So, and you know, Charlotte didn't look too happy with that decision. And obviously it was Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon who made the choice of Sasha Banks being on the team. And I guess, like you said, when you saw that picture with Dana Brooke, I guess she's probably going to be sort of like what Natalya is for SmackDown Live. So, good segment here, second best segment of the night, and I'll agree. I mean, it was a 2-star match, and I like how they actually put Bayley over, and they had her pin the women's champion Charlotte. So, So what does this mean now for Bayley? Could she basically get a shot at the be the one to get the shot at the women's championship down the road? I would say so, but we'll just have to wait and see. 2 stars is my rating. So Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
I agree with the 2-star rating, and it's the second best fight of the night. The one thing that I guess watching the segment part of this that I caught is when the universe kind of captured the segment and kept cutting Charlotte off. She was almost in tears. I mean, she was kind of losing it a little bit there. She wasn't completely in character through that segment, and you could tell she's kind of fighting to stay in character. So that that really affected her, having them kept cutting her off and singing, and not, because normally when they don't respect her, she just kind of blows it off, but this time she didn't blow it off as much, and you really could tell it. As far as the team itself, it wasn't that big of a surprise. I think the only one that I was a little shocked to see on there was Foxy, but I think all in all, this was a good choice of teams. We all know how much of a destroyer Nia Jax is. She's kind of the bruiser of the group, and it reminds me a lot of TNA's Karma. But yeah, this is going to be a strong team. You've got 5 really powerful women in there, and it, I can't wait to see how they're going to come up against the SmackDown team, which is starting to be, it's starting off pretty strong. So we'll have to wait and see kind of what comes out of that. And one thing Kevin brought to my attention was he heard something about WWE may not have Charlotte lose at any of the pay-per-views. I'll get y'all's opinion on that here in a little bit. From, I don't know where he heard it at, but that was something he brought to my attention. The match itself was strong. I like how it went off, and the finish for Bayley pinning Charlotte. I mean, that was totally awesome. It was good to see her actually, overcome Charlotte, even with Dana out there, because Dana's been a factor in every match that Charlotte's been in, and yeah, she was a member of the team for Charlotte there on the 3-on-3, but it was good to actually see somebody else pick up the win over Charlotte and in the end. So yeah, I think down the road we may actually see Bayley getting a shot at the title. When, that's anybody's guess, but yeah, I see definitely a title shot in her future. So Florio, what's yours?
All right. And yes, Nia Jax, I agree with you, Didi Woodson. Great observation there. Nia Jax definitely reminds me of a young Awesome Kong. She also reminds me a little bit of Jessica Havoc, and I'll even throw in the new monster badass woman in TNA, that being Sienna. So yeah, she definitely reminds me a lot of that. So and I think she will be the difference maker for Team Raw at Survivor Series. So well done. So so that being said, let's move on now to our next matchup. And here's another interesting match here. It was a one-on-one match. We had Rusev, of course, with his wife, the Ravishing Russian Lana, going up against Sami Zayn. What did I tell you guys? I believe it was on the last Cerebral Smack Talk last Tuesday night. What did I tell you? What did I tell you guys? We all remember Dolph Ziggler made his bold little challenge saying, I'm going to defend my Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against anybody on the Raw roster. And there were 2 names I threw out at all of you. And go figure, the 2 names that I threw out there were booked in this match. Sami Zayn and Rusev. I had that one. I believe I had that one. Yes, I did. I called it. So, and that's why I'm the man who tells it like it is. I'll let Jesse the Body Ventura. So all I can say right now, it was Rusev versus Sami Zayn, one-on-one. And the winner of this match would earn the right to face Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series in an interpromotional SmackDown Live versus Raw match. Winner of the match in approximately 8 minutes and 45 seconds to 8 minutes and 50 seconds and going to Survivor Series to face Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, the underdog from the underground, Sami Zayn, with maybe the greatest haluva kick I've ever seen. Rusev was on the buckle. He was like second rope on the inside, as MF would say. Haluva kick. And then knocked Rusev right off the buckle. Sami Zayn hooks the leg, gets the 1, 2, 3, and Sami Zayn will now face Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series. Whoa. I believe MF starts this one off, so MF, Sami Zayn, Rusev for the right to face Ziggler. Your thoughts on the match as well as the surprising outcome with Sami Zayn and Ziggler. Oh my goodness. Can you say sleeper fight of the night and a possible show stealer?
This could be an interesting fight. But we were talking about who were the possible guys that were going to get at it. And Rusev name came out. Sami Zayn's name came out. Those are the two guys we were talking about the whole time. And yeah, Anthony, I'll give credit where credit's due. You called it for Sami to get the opportunity. Now he is. It's going to be a great match, no doubt about it. Show stealer, possibly. This is about 2.5 to 2 3/4 for me. I thought this was a tremendous match. Definitely one of the top fights of the night. This was a great battle. The war was so strong, and these guys left nothing to chance, and I loved it. I thought it was definitely a big, big battle, and there's really nothing more to say, Anthony. I thought this was a solid match, great match. Congratulations to Sami. The underdog from the underground is now going up against Ziggler for the Intercontinental title. At least to believe. How's it going to play out? We won't know for sure, but it's going to be a great match. So nothing more to say. I loved it. Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it 2.5. I'll give it 2.5 stars as well. This was a good match. that haluva kick on Rusev from the top. That was just awesome. And yes, the underdog, Sami Zayn, he gets it done. He is now going to be going on to Survivor Series to face Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. And yes, I think this is definitely going to be the sleeper fight of the night based on the body of work of both of these men. Will Sami Zayn bring the Intercontinental Championship to Raw? We'll have to wait and find out, but good job by both men for a good match. So 2.5 stars. T.D. Woodson, I give it to you.
I'll agree. It was a very good match. So, it's an appropriate rating in my book for the match. I'm not surprised that it was these two guys that was going up for it. Of course, I wasn't there last week for SmackDown, but if I was, I probably would have agreed with Florio that it being down with these two. And of course, it was tonight. So it was great to see a match that just total back and forth, and not letting the excitement get too far down. You kind of drew the crowd into it, and after seeing this match, I'm kind of excited to see what happens now at the pay-per-view between Zayn and Ziggler, and seeing how this actually plays out in the end. Is Zayn actually going to be able to bring it home, or is Ziggler going to retain this title? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Florio, what's yours?
2.5. Yeah, 2.5 stars. Third best fight of the night for me. I'm sure it will be fine because they are going to attempt to steal the show. But we now have Zayn versus Ziggler in a match between two guys who typically work from underneath and sell before making their comebacks. So that's all there is to say. I mean, the match, some would say it was an average at best match, which, considering both guys involved, felt very disappointing. The finish was a little flat and also felt a bit too slip on a banana peel-ish for me. You're setting up a title contender, put the winner over strongly. Yeah, I kind of do agree. The finish, it was a little flat towards the end. I'll admit it. But the match, though, was still good for what it was. And I'm glad that Sami Zayn gets the win here, because now we're going to get Sami Zayn against Dolph Ziggler in what I think will be a 3.5 to 4 star match based on these two guys' body of work. So really looking forward to that. So all right. So that's that. And then now we move on to our main event of the evening, which, of course, was the Fatal 5-Way match. Non-title, of course. Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman. The winner of the match, in 16 minutes and 5 seconds, the Universal Champion, Kevin Owens, picks up the win. Reigns caught Owens with a Superman punch, and it actually catapulted Kevin Owens' momentum on top of Chris Jericho. And Kevin Owens pins his own best friend, Chris Jericho, at 16 minutes and 5 seconds. So I do believe Michael Bullock starts this one off. So Bullock, your thoughts on the main event?
Yes, to me, this is the fight of the night here. I'll give it 3.5 stars as my rating for the match. I thought it was a good Fatal 5-Way for what it was, and I loved how how everybody was trying to get to work on Strowman, because they know he's the bigger of the five guys, and Braun Strowman basically powered them off of him, so, which is very impressive. And like you said, I think he's going to be the wild card in this traditional Survivor Series elimination match. So good main event to close out this Monday Night Raw. So 3.5 stars is my rating. Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
I'll agree with the rating. It was a very good match. Now that KO pinned Jericho, does that mean that KO is on the list? I know that was brought up by the announcers, but it's a good question. How is this going to affect the friendship between these two? And is it going to be, more explosive now that Kevin did pin Jericho? And then we also saw Rollins and Reigns start to team up a little bit again, and see some little bits and pieces from the former Shield days. So, it leaves a few questions as to how the Raw team's going to end up being when the pay-per-view comes up. But at the same time, the match was really good. It was a good, strong way to end Raw. So, Florio, what's yours?
3.5 stars. We'll make it unanimous. It was the fight of the night, no question about it. The match was better than most of everything on the show, not by a large degree, so it's not saying much. I felt they did a great job establishing Braun Strowman as a beast, and I really enjoyed the finish, because you continue the teases of issues with Owens and Jericho. Jericho helped him once again, but Owens comes out on top while Jericho takes the fall. And then you also tease that Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins may be back on the same page, which, of course, they had a spot during the match. There was a table set up on the outside, and Rollins was had Strowman set up for Roman to do the Shield bomb, but Owens and Jericho broke it up. So the fans didn't get that big pop that they were looking for. And but I have read a dirt sheet saying that WWE is teasing a possible mini Shield reunion at Survivor Series, because all the pieces are there. You've got Reigns and Rollins on the Raw team. You got Ambrose on the SmackDown Live team. So who knows? Maybe there could be a small little mini Shield reunion at Survivor Series. Very possible. I read a dirt sheet saying that. So great for what it was. If you can get past the silly logic of having teammates beat the hell out of each other as some type of bonding exercise. The finish, like I said, intriguing in that it potentially strains the Owens and Jericho friendship, which is still more interesting than Owens feuding with either Rollins or Reigns at this point. And that's really all I can say about that. So 3.5 stars for me. Fight of the night, no question about it. So MF, let's get your thoughts on the main event.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 3.5 stars is my rating for it as well. I thought they did a very good job in, presenting the body of work of everybody in play. This was as good as it could have gotten. So I had really nothing bad to say about it. The interesting pin at the end of the fight between the interesting ending where you have Owens pinning Jericho, by mistake, but whatever the case may be. I just thought that was amazing. But other than that, nothing else to say. So, yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
And now it's time for our overall review of Monday Night Raw, and I believe Didi Whitson starts it off. So, Didi Whitson, your overall thoughts on this Monday Night Raw from Glasgow, Scotland tonight?
I thought it was a fairly good Raw. Like I said, I haven't seen very many lately. I think the last one I watched was the go-home show before the pay-per-view, and I watched it the same day as the pay-per-view. So, it was a very good show compared to some of the other ones I have watched. They're definitely getting their mojo on for this show. For me, I'm probably gonna give it a 8 out of 10, maybe a little high, but for me, not seeing as many Raws and hearing how bad they've been lately, for me this was a pretty strong show. And really, there was only one match that I would have gone with calling a dud, and of course that's the one we skipped. But other than that, the matches were they were entertaining to a point, and they definitely drew in the fans and drew in, to the storyline and built for the storyline. Now, I'm curious, even though I probably won't see it live, I'll probably have to watch it on Hulu or something later. How the go-home show is going to be, if it's going to be as strong of a show as this one is, and can they nail it out of the park? So we'll see on that. And I'm going to head out here, so I will see you all tomorrow on our SmackDown chat. Good night, guys.
All right, good night, Didi Whitson. That's the Cerebral Smack Talk, 10:30 tomorrow night over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. And yes, to me, I think 8 is a little too steep, if I'm going to be real honest, but it was a good show for our end. I think 7, maybe 7.5 would probably be the best rating because of all the great stuff that went down tonight. But a lot of the reviews that I'm reading here, they absolutely hated this show. There's one guy on 411 Mania that went as far as to give this show a 2 out of 10. Whoa. Can't please everybody, as the old saying is concerned. And another reviewer gave it 5 out of 10. Our friend Jason Powell from ProWrestling.net, he wasn't really into the show either. I get it. It's probably because it was a taped show and the whole 9 yards. But we felt this was an enjoyable show. They actually had storyline progression on this show. They actually hyped Survivor Series really, really well. I'm going to be real honest with you. I enjoyed how they set up Survivor Series. All 3 traditional Survivor Series elimination matches were set up, and they progressed perfectly. They progressed the men's match. They progressed the women's match. They progressed the tag team match. And, all those in-ring segments were really good. I'm going to be real honest. But it was the opening segment with Stephanie and the guys that pretty much was the segment of the night. The tag teams were really good. And, of course, the women's segment was The third best. And then you had some quality matches. I mean, that main event, that 5-way, that was a very good main event. And then the second best fight, you got to give it to the 6-woman tag match where Bayley got the fall on Charlotte, and then Sami Zayn knocking off Rusev to earn the right to face Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series. So 3 quality matches, 3 really good bouts, and then they also had a couple of nice video packages setting up the Goldberg and Lesnar match, which I thought was really good. I mean, especially Brock Lesnar in the sit-down interview. I mean, he thrives in that. I got to tell you. And then, yeah, they set up the Goldberg Lesnar match nicely. That didn't overstay its welcome at all. And what else is there for me to say except next week on Monday Night Raw, of course, it's the Go Home show, and it's going to be at the First Niagara Arena in Buffalo. Buffalo gets the Go Home show for Survivor Series, and of course, we already know it's going to be. We're going to get the in-ring confrontation, the face-to-face with Goldberg and Lesnar, but on top of that, there's going to be a state of the WWE address on this show, and all 4 authority figures will be present and accounted for. Monday Night Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, and along with her general manager Mick Foley, and yes, making their appearance on Monday Night Raw, they'll be there. Get excited, MF, your boys, like the SmackDown Live Commissioner Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon, and SmackDown Live general manager, the yes man himself, Daniel Bryan. All 4 will be in the house next Monday night for what they're calling a State of the WWE address. Some are scoffing at this. Some don't like the idea of it. But as the 3 of us always like to say, give it a chance. It could be something really good. And I'm actually looking forward to that, believe it or not, because I think it could lead to some really good hype for Survivor Series. I really do. And then you couple that with the segment with Goldberg and Lesnar, the face-to-face. Oh, my Lord in heaven. That's all I can say about that. So 7 to 7.5 out of 10. I know all the experts out there are saying you're scoring this way too high. It's our opinion. Our opinions don't necessarily reflect your views. So that's all I can say about that. That's how the man who tells it like it is feels about it. So very good show tonight. One of the better Raws we've seen in a while. No matter what those other experts like to say. So with that said, MF, you said this was a good show. How good was it on your end?
7 out of 10. I'll give it that. I'll be fair enough with that. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was a good show. I thought they did things a little differently this time around that actually worked. So I was very impressed and very pleased with the way that they were going with certain things. I'm not gonna say it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I won't go that far, but no, I thought it was consistent. I thought it was solid. I liked what I saw. So, kudos to WWE for actually pulling off a successful show tonight. So, no, I got nothing bad to say or nothing negative. So, with that said, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 as well. I mean, I thought I liked what I saw from the show tonight, and the storyline progressions I thought were some of the keys in it. So yeah, I mean, I liked it. I know some people are probably gonna crap all over us and say, "Oh, you're overscoring this big time," but I like what I saw. So 7 out of 10 is my rating. So that being said, Florio, I think it's time for your Tony Steak.
I think it's time for that too. Yes, indeed, Michael Bullock. It is now indeed time for my Tony's Take, and of course, we're going to get into Impact Wrestling. Real quick, I want to make a quick little announcement about a future segment that is going to be added to my Tony's Take sometime next month. As you know, WWE is going to be debuting a brand new cruiserweight show called 205 Live, which will take place on Tuesday nights. Following SmackDown Live, which means their Talking Smack show is going to be pushed back an hour to about 11 or so. So yes, and that starts on November 29th. So that Monday after which I believe will be on our December the 5th show. Yes, on Monday night, December the 5th. We're going to, in addition to my Impact Wrestling reviews, I'm also going to give you my review of 205 Live. So really looking forward to seeing how that all goes down. So so with that being said, let's get into Impact Wrestling for last week. Of course, it was in the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. And I got some interesting things to say about this show. Pretty high praise for this show as well. So let's start it off with our opening segment here. We had Brandy Rhodes. Of course, you know Brandy Rhodes, the wife of Cody Rhodes. She came out, she cut a promo, and she was then interrupted by Maria Kanellis Bennett and Sienna. And then they had a little brouhaha. They had a brawl and the whole 9 yards. So this was the follow-up to Maria losing to Brandy last week, which is fine as she got revenge by using the numbers game and her muscle. In that respect, it worked, and the mic work was solid overall in the segment. I just have no desire to see these two feud. Neither character is interesting to me. The final game is a match, and both of them are very bad. Their in-ring interaction was embarrassing last week, and Brandy's attempts at strikes here were no good. Another issue is that Jade and Gail Kim specifically have issues with Maria and hate her guts. Where in the hell were they to help? Maria has no power anymore, and Kim has the title, so there is no fear for them to help. So that's all I can say on that. So let's move on to our first match of the evening. It was for the Impact Grand Championship, and this is the first of 3 title matches on this show this week. We had the Impact Grand Champion, Aaron Rex, alias Damian Sandow, Damian Mizdow, whatever you want to call him. He defended against Bromance member Jesse Goddard of Big Brother fame, of course, as you all know. Winner of the match at 54 seconds of the 3rd round via a pinfall, and still your Impact Wrestling Grand Champion, Aaron Rex. I got to give it 2 stars. I would probably say it was the second worst fight of the night. Solid but unspectacular match. Part of that is the fact that Rex is a painfully boring performer right now, and Goddard's again outshined him. The most interesting thing about Rex is the heel shenanigans he is using. But the matches are also suffering because they aren't making them feel different, nor are they really using the round system to its strengths. All too often, they are just segmenting a regular match to make it feel longer. It could be done much better, but the agents don't seem to know how to lock in a new style. So that's really all I can say about it. So second worst fight in the night for me. I can only give it 2 stars. That's it. And then we move on to our X Division Showcase match, that X Gold match, 6-man tag team X Gold match. X Division champion DJZ along with his buddies. Well, actually, this was a 3-way match. I beg your pardon, a 3-way X Gold match. X Division champion DJZ along with his partners Braxton Sutter and Mandrews. They went up against the Helms Dynasty, Marche Rocket, Trevor Lee, and Andrew Everett, and then Rockstar Spud and Decay. Winners of the match in 5 minutes and 20 seconds via a pinfall. DJZ, Braxton Sutter, and Mandrews. Second best fight of the night. I'm going to give it 2 3/4 stars. Pretty good overall. It had a nice pace, fun action, and a good flow. Plus, they actually enforced the strict rules gimmick. I just wish the concept was better laid out. That's all I can say. So with that being said, let's move on to our next match. This was for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. We had the champions, the Broken Hardys, Broken Matt Hardy, and Brother Nero, going up against the DCC. Winners of the match via disqualification in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and still TNA World Tag Team Champions, the Broken Hardys. I'm sorry, this was the worst fight of the night for me. No rating to a dud. The DQ was the right way to go there because it was too soon to have the Hardys lose the titles, and you can't beat the DCC in their first official match. There was a bright spot, though. The backstage brawl. Easily the best part. Maximizing the pre-produced elements and also some of the established Broken Universe things that many have come to enjoy. It was entertaining, and I also enjoyed and liked the tease at the end with Broken Matt looking to have amnesia because he didn't know who his own brother was. So that's all I can say about that. But even with that, it was still the worst fight of the night for me. No rating. That's all I can give it. So, and then we have an in-ring segment with Ethan Carter III, basically calling out Eli Drake and and basically was asking about the title shot and because remember, Eli Drake won that Bound for Gold match at Bound for Glory last month, and EC3 wanted a shot at it. But he says if Drake defends Bound for Gold and defeats EC3, he will go from the bottom of the pile and become an opening match guy and never challenge for a world title again. Drake then says next week he will challenge whoever the winner of the main event was. So I got to say this was the segment of the night. Very good segment. Both guys have played well off of each other, and I really like that EC3 is desperate. But I also really like that Drake isn't being stupid or quickly tricked into a match. So that was really good. And then the main event of the evening for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Eddie Edwards, defending against challenger and former champion Bobby Lashley. Winner of the match in 18 minutes and 55 seconds. And still your TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Eddie Edwards. Fight of the night, 3 3/4 stars. This was a great main event despite the overbooking. Eddie Edwards plays the fighting champion very well, while Bobby Lashley continues to be presented as a total badass. While the ending was a bit too overbooked for my liking, they did use it to set the stage for the rematch. While Lashley caused the events that led to the finish, the ref obviously fast counted him due to his actions. These two continue to work well together and are providing really fun matches that have a different intensity than the other matches on the show. So well done, guys. Really good. I mean, these two do work really well together. I probably would say this is the second best match of their series, with the best match obviously being that winner take all championship match they had back in the summer when they were in the Six Sides of Steel, when Lashley unified the X Division and World Heavyweight Championships. That to me is also my match of the year, by the way, still. So as far as TNA goes, as far as the overall review of this show goes, 7.5 out of 10. An overall good show with a great main event. It's a shame that the company alienated so many in previous years and that so many stay away due to the current turmoil, because TNA has been a solid to good wrestling show all year. Of course, Lashley and Edwards stole the show as the fight of the night. The X Division, for once, actually had a halfway decent bout, which I really was actually not half bad for once, considering how god-awful they've been booked and everything else. But the main event, that's what did it for me. So 7.5 out of 10. One of the better shows I've seen in a while. And now we go to what you can expect for this upcoming week's Impact Wrestling broadcast, which will be going down on Thursday night at 8 o'clock on Pop Television. We're going to have an in-ring segment with the World Heavyweight Champion, Eddie Edwards, which will be interrupted by Eli Drake. And it's going to set up another championship match. We'll get into that in just a moment. A number one, I guess they're going to have a number one contenders qualifier tournament, I guess. And in the first match, we're going to have the Miracle Mike Bennett go up against Moose. And then we had an in-ring segment with the Tribunal, which will be interrupted by Al Snow. And something very interesting will go down as well during that segment. Then we have another contenders match. Ethan Carter III will go up against the Monster Abyss from the Decay. And then in a triple threat match, Trevor Lee will go up against X Division champion DJ Z and Rockstar Spud. That's another qualifier. And then in the final qualifier, another triple threat match, Bobby Lashley will go up against, are you kidding me? Grado and Robbie E. I think you already know who's going to win that match. And then Gail Kim. We haven't seen the Knockouts champion in a while. And she's going to come out and make an announcement, and it's going to bring out Jade. And keep an eye out for that segment. That's going to be an interesting segment. That's all I can say about that. A lot of chicanery is going to go down during that segment. And then the main event of the evening, we're going to have another World Heavyweight Championship match. How about it? Eddie Edwards is going to defend against Eli Drake, because in that segment, Eli Drake is going to cash in his Bound for Gold title shot. So Eddie Edwards will be going up against Eli Drake. Watch, and we're also going to see at the very end of this show, the DCC is going to unmask. And you're not going to believe, there's 3 of them. You're not going to know who one of them is, because I don't know who this guy is. But you're damn sure going to know who the other 2 are, especially the ringleader, which I'm still kind of surprised at who it is. So So that's all going down Thursday night on Impact Wrestling. Check it out, 8 o'clock, Pop Television. That's all I can say. So that's going to put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all very much for tuning in. Okay, you know who it is, MF. All right, we'll get into it behind the scenes. So, all right, so that's going to do it for this. So thank you all very much for tuning in. So we're going to wrap it up with our shout-outs. So, guys, between the two of you, whoever wants it first, take it. Just save me for last so I can set up the future content in the whole 9 yards.
Will do. First off, I'll start off. I want to say thank you to all the great fans out there for the amazing work that you guys always do. You guys are the best fans in the world. Normally, I would never do this, but the hey with it. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom. What did you like about the show tonight? Share it with all your friends on social media as well. I mean, it's gonna be it is amazing. It's awesome. Nothing more to say about that. And then of course, super fans. You guys know who you guys are. To all my friends in the junior high and high school days, you guys know who you guys are. 2184 crew, love you guys to death. That's it. There's really nothing more to say. Anthony will hit you up with the future content. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. Big night to say out there. It's election day out here in America. Some starts at 6, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning. Go out and vote. It doesn't matter how you feel about the candidates for president of the United States. There's a lot of important stuff down ballot, Senate races, House of Representatives. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And then locally in Rhode Island, there's a ballot question pertaining to education. There's a casino question, and there's even something even local, even in East Providence, about a ballot question pertaining to possible a term limits for and to restructure, make East Providence have a mayoral elections every 4 years. Starting with the next cycle out, which would be in 2 years. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Nothing more to say. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night and 10:30 Braves Fan 95. Until then, Mike Fletcher, you know the routine. Hug the hand pounds. I'm out. Good night. Mike Bullock, go ahead. It's yours.
Yes, of course. We want, of course, shout outs to all the tremendous fans out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or of course Cerebral Smack Talk or Strictly Sports, College Football Thursday, NFL Friday. We thank you all so very much for tuning in tonight, and of course, shout out to our First Lady, Gigi Woodson, of course. Shouts to all of our friends from high school days. You guys know who you are, and so that's pretty much gonna do it for me. So until hopefully tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, or if not, I'll see you guys Thursday night for College Football Thursday. This is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all. You know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Orchard 4 style. Bye for now, and enjoy the rest of your night. So, Florio, take us home.
Yes, we'll do. Of course, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to make our projects as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, our special shout out to our First Lady, Didi Woodson, who actually made it on the show tonight. I mean, she's usually busy on Monday nights with work commitments, but I'm glad that she actually got the time to join us tonight. So that's really nice. Hopefully she'll be with us again tomorrow night. So special shout out to Didi Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Of course, our favorite Chicago Cubs super fan, Matt Ward, who's obviously still basking in the glow of maybe the most epic and emotional World Series victory of all time, with his Chicago Cubs, of course, winning the World Series last Wednesday night in a Game 7 for the ages. Matt Ward's got to be still going through the roof about that. So a special shout out to him. Of course, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our other First Ladies, Megan Silva, Kaiser Butler, and Lexi Calloway, and of course, Our crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, and Rob Parsons. And last but not least, the brainchild behind all of this, the hardcore pipe bomb himself, Derek Ferreira, sportsblog.com. Check out his site. He released his college football power rankings today, so give that a read and let him know if you agree or disagree with his rankings. And I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night, for NFL Friday, and future content coming up, of course, tomorrow night, 10:30, Braves Fan 95. Good Old MF will have it, the Cerebral Smack Talk, where we're going to review SmackDown Live as they put on the show for the people of Glasgow, Scotland at the SSE Hydro Arena. Of course, it'll be headlined by the huge Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch going up against Alexa Bliss. We're definitely going to have our thoughts on that. Of course, will they have storyline progression? That's a stupid question. Of course they're going to have storyline progression. We're going to see how they go about their build to Survivor Series, because Monday Night Raw's build was really good tonight. Keep them saying that, but it's true. And then we're off on Wednesday. And then, of course, Fletch will also have his Mikey's Mindset, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, maybe some RWA, maybe some other things. I don't know. We'll see. And then we're off on Wednesday, and then we'll be back with you on Thursday for College Football Thursday, which is we got Baylor going up against Oklahoma, big matchup there, and Michigan against Iowa. You know, it's just a couple of the interesting games we're going to get into. And then Friday night, NFL Friday. Of course, it'll be headlined by the huge rematch from Super Bowl 49 with the Seattle Seahawks going up against the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football, Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Obviously, that's the game of the week. And, of course, another game of the week, another top game of the week, an old rivalry renewed, an old Super Bowl rivalry renewed. The two most successful Super Bowl franchises of all time will be going at it on Sunday afternoon before that game when the Dallas Cowboys go up against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. That's another huge matchup right there, and we're looking forward to that. And then we're off for the weekend, and then we'll be back with you next Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, the go-home show for Survivor Series, featuring the State of the WWE address. All four authority figures will be there. And, of course, the face-to-face confrontation with Bill Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, which should be really good. That'll be all going down in Buffalo next Monday night. So, all right, that'll do it for this. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's the man who tells it like it is, Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio, signing off for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Dee Woodson, and, of course, the hardcore pipe bomb himself, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. Get out there and vote. Use your God-given right. That's all it is to say about that. It's a privilege. Use it. Use it the right way. That's all I can say about that. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.